Hello, every neon. We are here on Public Test Branch, the Modular Craft Update MCU. Yeah, that's right. New episodes of I don't even know what the actual Marvel stuff is going out with right now. ANS versus OSP here on Honeycomb. ANS Team 1, Dragonbender, Jar, Tasty Cookie, and Hallow. Over here, Team 2, OSP. We got Microsoft Edgelord, Solar, Pyrope, and 8-Ball. What the hell, Pyrope? Yuri Manga up on other monitors so now don't accidentally stream snipe. That's something. Well, I guess that's one way of getting around stream sniping. Anyways, we ask players to please mute the stream and not watch while they are playing in this. But hey, if you get knocked out or disconnect, then it's fair game to come back in here and just see what ends up happening there. You know what? It wouldn't be a Nebulous cast if it's like not immediately at the start. If it's like, hey, yeah, by the way, I'm reading Yuri manga right now. It's like, yep, you certainly are. Welcome to Nebulous. I mean, technically, Nebulous is Yuri. Warships are female, so I guess that this is just a elaborate Yuri manga, anime, something. I really don't know at this point anymore. I'm a catboy on the internet. I'm wearing a paper hat. I'm shoutcasting Nebulous. Let's just play this game, shall we? ANS deploying themselves. Looks like we got a good stack over here towards the right side. E point. Couple of these assets going towards D side as well. Nothing jumping up on the C side top there. Looks like A point going to be capped out. OSP in turn, they got a little bit of stuff going towards C. They got a nice deployment kind of split across the bottom of the map there. All right, so there you go. Pyrope, you know, if I don't know what's going to happen this cast, but I might just title this one Pyrope Yuri Recommendations as like a thumbnail. I'll just see what she says to that. Pyrope, a good friend of mine, and also just a nice experienced player there who scares me with her missile tech. Please don't hit me with missiles anymore, Pyrope, please. Your rocket containers are terrifying, and I don't want to know what those hybrids do. All right. We're just killing time on the deploy here. Pyro Blaster ready up. Tasty Cookie as well. Seeing a couple of these players deciding where exactly they want to deploy. We got ourselves pretty low on the deployment there for OSP, so we'll see what we end up getting. All right. I'm getting a... What's this? A levy here on deployment. I think this is Tasty Cookie's build. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember all the paint schemes and prefixes. I want to say Tasty was triple C's. We'll see. All right, who we got here that I'm looking at first? Yep, it is Tasty Cookie running the same build they've been doing the past little bit. They got themselves a very greeted carrier here. It's a strike down center, though, so triple launching of all of these bombers. Singular, no, triple sundial, actually, for good awareness. Yeah, bombers has been a thing that they've been trying out. These, I believe, have the stealth coating, and the shrouded exhaust, trying to get the minimal detection on these. They're escorting them with a couple of these jammer corvettes here that also have a SDM-2 bay. A lot of Naganatas to take out enemy craft. So kind of testing the limit of can you go oops all bomber with that style. Jar comes along with a fairly stable build here. It looks like we got one of these 450 and two of these 450 Axeroids here coming in. No Greedford to be seen here. Just got a launch pad on the back here. It looks like those are, I want to say those are Tontos, I believe. Memory is, yeah, those are Tontos. All right, so I was correct on that. So a couple of intercept fighters there on the back of Jar. Hallow coming in with a nice cap leak. Got themselves a missile brick asset. Got itself an illuminator here to just do its thing. Yeah, illuminate. And then these are semi-active with ARAD validation. The Hyper Vs, Fruit Flies are anti-craft munitions, blast frags. Themselves a beam destroyer in usual spot, watching over that A point down here. Themselves a torpedo corvette towards the left side of the map here. This thing got some good torps and just a nice little mixture of stuff there. Another one towards the E side. Two of them towards the D point, and then they've got themselves a gun capper and another gun capper distributed nicely. Lastly, we get Dragonbender at the top here. We got 450 and a size 3 backpack on this thing. Ooh, size 3 hybrids. That looks like a triple mixing there. Double Raider and a whip on this thing. Yeah, that's a good Axford. Themselves looks like some escorting assets here. It looks like a little interrupt and bullseye corvette to go along with. They got themselves a gun vet going towards A point, gun vet going towards E point, and then lastly a gun vet kind of hanging out in reserve. All right, nice little half cap lead there from Dragonbender to help out Hallow a bit. 8-Ball comes in with a 3K Moorline carrier, already getting fighter craft off the deck. Bastion and Grizzly are airborne. What you got on these things? Standard configurations, 35mm nose gun Barracudas. All right, that's fun. A couple of these pikes with, looks like some have EO ball, others don't, and some halberd skiffs with wake sensors. Cool stuff as more of these are getting out on the battle space here. Bastion flight loaded up, 35mm nose gun upgrade. Got some SDM-1s with just act. Interesting. Going for a bunch of those missiles and stuff. These bombers here loaded up with flashbangs and R3s. Okay, so going for some strike early on. Let's see what else we got. We got Microsoft Edgelord with the... Oh, god damn it, Edge. All right, it's this build. Microsoft Edgelord with the We Have Carriers at Home. These are 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these monitors, which are totally carriers. Yes, with a bunch of fighter craft in them. I hate this build. I really hate this build. Why do you do this to me, Edge? Strike craft loading up with whatever they got in those things. I really don't want to think about this. Why do you do this to me, Edge? Piranha rockets, perch rockets, some light bombs and stuff there, and then looks like a pair of these little gun capper corvettes going towards the points. Pyrope coming in with a actually fairly normal fleet, some 450. Right, it's a Pyrope build, of course. 450 Acellos, but with a tech side grade of a railgun on the belly. Yep, that's about right. Jar saying poor Nekos. They're probably assuming what I am reading through right now. Pyrope stuff is kind of about what you expect, just a nice little tech side grade there with the railgun. I don't know if it's better or worse than the additional 450. She likes it, so you know what? Hey, go off, Queen. Use that stuff. Anyways, Hyper-V missiles launched out towards C point. See these things get a lock and immediately stage here. Zoom in towards target. Will they find it? Splat goes 1 and 2. That is a knockout there. Damn. All right, let's take a look. Solar coming in here with looks like they've got themselves a multi-mission tug with a C-53. That's not normal. All right, yeah, it's just all right. I guess they paid for the upgrade. Wait, what the? I guess no chaff, a double piece. All right, interesting tech there from Solar. Oh, it's a pair. Oh, it's a pair of them. Okay, interesting. Double, 2 MLS2 tugs together, double missile firepower, and then the 250. That's kind of cool. Okay, they've got 2 tug pairs going around the map like this. 3 tug pairs actually, and then a rocket shuttle, empty shuttle, and then lastly an empty shuttle. All right, cool tech on display from every player here. I'm kind of liking it. Yeah, except for you, Edge. Edge, you've lost free privilege. You know what? Nope, Edge. That's it. I'm dialing list right now. Nope, I'm calling it up. Edge loses fleet editor privileges. That's what we're doing. Just nope. You have upset the dev, ma'am. I'm putting in a number. Nope. Get out of here. Starter fleet's only for you for an hour. You're sentenced to Caltrop. Bits aside, we are seeing more of these missiles go off here towards the middle of the map. Bastion flight potentially going to get Naginata intercepted here. SDM2s out on target. Seeing 1 hit, and that'll be 35 mil trying to intercept here. A lot of Naganatas on target. Yeah, Tasty with the arsenal bricks over here, just able to kind of show why bringing these things along. The VLS is quite strong, especially on the Corvette like this. You don't commonly see these VLS2s, but they can do a lot of work, even if just loaded up with the 5-point anti-craft munitions like that. Bastion flight is reduced from 8 fighters down to just like 2.5 here as they try and get some of their work done. Battery flight is found out over here. It's attempting a torpedo strike against one of the natural points here. Tasty doing quite well on the cleanup there. Managed to get a lucky snipe. Basic CIC. Oh, you know what? Solar, shame on you. You forgot to bring your obligatory reinforced magazine. You could have tanked that hit. Cool. Anyways, a couple of these missiles going off here. These are... What the heck? What? Why is your Axe Seeker set to detect small targets? That's not right. That's not supposed to do that. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a error there from, I think that was Solar, was it? I think Solar fired those. No, where did those come from? Bastion flight? GMs? No, that's not right. Okay, well, that's the thing. Yeah, so size 2s aren't supposed to go after those unless they have blast frag. Potentially they thought they had blast frag. Trying to figure out where exactly those came from. I want to say it was Solar over here with those, right? Magazines, they got 6 remaining. Was that what they fired? I mean, that would do well enough for the count. Could those be to hit, to kill... Could those be to kill HEI size 2? No. So intercepting, like, trying to intercept missiles, you do blast frag. Seeing HEI fired off and, like, targeting small is strange. I assume that's just a mistake and the fleet editor accidentally picked the box that says, like, detect small targets. Anyways, Naginata's right into the rock there as Highball fleet is briefly detected and then proceeds to just use rock as best PD. Yeah, I don't know about that one. That might just be a fleet editor error. I think Solar just might need to double check their missiles. We'll let them know after the game. Anyways, Halo going to be getting a little bit rocketed here as Highball flight going to be trying to get some work done. R1s, R2s, and KB-15s on this. Whole bunch of light strike going out here. Yeah, that's going to be some damage dealt. Smack, smack, smack as Halo is going to be crippled here. Bombs likely inbound if these rockets don't do the trick, honestly. A lot of crippled components. Damage control teams are able to run around and evade most of the damage there. Should see more of these perch rockets firing off. I think that's a bomb out on target. Yeah, KB-15s. Light strike, ahoy. This is going to be a stun ship, and that is the knockout blow. Perfect textbook usage of this light strike Barracuda wing. You can kill craft with direct HEI hits. You can. It's just really weird to see. So, the whole thing is seeker inaccuracy and stuff. Yeah, so it's really unusual to see. Potentially a strike error there. I think that they fired off 4 of them before. Now they're firing off additionals. So D point they should recognize has not been capped. So I think Solar just a little bit slow with the response there. Highball from Microsoft Edgelord had already gotten that. Anarchy Flight inbound with 3 torpedo bombers coming this way. Looking towards Microsoft Edgelord, potentially getting a strike down there. Remember losing a skiff to a size 1 below this map? It was HEI. Yeah, you can get weird stuff. Size 1 HEI, I could understand that. That thing is like, what, 2 points? You potentially get a lucky kill, so that could happen. Unfortunately, losing Turbo there. Possibly they want to go to the fleet editor and check their own stuff. Microsoft Edgelord going to get punished here in a second, as these do not, I believe, have any point defense. Nope, just relying on that health bar of T20s. Honestly, Edgelord, you deserve this. Just, Edge, you had this coming. You made me review this thing in fleet review. You deserve these torpedo hits. Enjoy. Splat. All right, so the front side of this thing is going to get immediately knocked out. There's no restores left on this thing, so all the hanger ability has been taken out on both of these. Honestly, Edge, you got what you deserve. You know what you've done. Okay, taking a look over here. E point, we're going to see that Hallow is wounded, but on the point here, able to step on here. Nothing currently able to goalie this. Solar has been taken out with their rocket shuttle there. They've got their assets nearby and might be able to get a strike off. We will see. They are not firing their guns currently for some reason. They have a lock order. They've got jammers firing. Why are they not engaging target? Curious. Breacher Flight trying to get into the backfield here, see if we can get a lucky torpedo hit off. Will be found by the alert fighters from 8-Ball. 8-Ball just going to commit a missile on target here and then probably chew this thing up with the guns in a second. Yeah, there you go. 35 mil going to find this fighter, or bomber rather, before it is able to get through. Pop goes that thing. Was aiming for the carrier, did not find its way in. Still interesting to see Tasty trying to do some of that backstabbing maneuvering there. Jar has these pairs of fighters up here. Just coil gun. Interesting. Coil gun, and I'm guessing an internal fuel tank to keep this thing airborne for a long time. You only get 6 shots of this currently on test server compared to the 10 shots you get on live. All right, here we go. A couple of missiles coming out toward this point. The missile salvo size is really confusing me because I expected to see salvo size 8, but instead they're just firing off singulars of these. All right, Solar, what you got? Possibly just recognizing this thing was wounded, decided to take the shot to kill it. Unfortunately, though, it does get the cap off, which is bad. They now have to advance and possibly resecure that. Bit of an interesting one here, either way. Battle space has developed a little bit. Both teams have secured some caps, but also traded. E point has originally gone to the hands of the OSP, now was in the hands of ANS. Solar advances to try and take that. D point over here is kept neutral. B point and A point are the naturals. C point was tried by Microsoft Edgelord up top, but was cleaned up by a nice strike from Hallow's, where's that frigate? Yeah, Hallow with a nice little frigate in the backfield here. Honestly, I really like this tech. Spyglass Adaptive Radar Receiver is quite good. Ability to use missiles. Missile frigates like this just as a splice into fleets. We have not seen nearly enough fleets incorporate this. I've started doing it with a couple of mine, and honestly, it's really good tech. Just getting either size 3s or even just some size 2s in here. Pair of size 3 hybrids, quite good stuff. Just point your spotlight towards the enemy, light them up, hit them with that. Okay, here comes some more of these missiles going out here. A little bit of jank going on there as it's trying to find target. HE shape is looking and missing. Potentially just jammed out by the jammers there from Tasty Cookies Escort. Good usage there. ECAP is going on here as Solar is able to get there. What are these missiles? Okay, Naganatas, that's a cross map if I ever saw one. Yeah, Tasty Cookie trying to trim out Goblin Flight down here. Naganada's going to find some of them. Goblin down to just 3 fighter craft. Make that 2. All right, Solar finally commits to a bit more of the Yub going off here. Unfortunately, Jar is in range and chasing Perfect Judgment and Go of All Morals. Bit of a reference to Task Force Oak there with the naming convention. You can see one of these tugs immediately eats 450 into the front section. Reinforce in a large. That's a lot of damage control for a ship this size. Bit optimistic here with the size 2s trying to test the waters against a active point defense net of a pair of Axfords there. Still at the same time, might as well use it if you got it. Streak Flight kind of finding Avarice and Cleaver now in the backfield here. Might be able to clean up that. Let's take a look around. People asking, do you play caps aggressive or passive? Depends on situation. You play caps adaptively. That's the best answer I got. Goblin Flight does manage to pick off a trio of bombers there. Good find on that. Or is it a duo? I think it was a trio. Either way, they're going to find some stuff here. Engage with a singular fighter here. Joker is going to be trying to get in range. It is out of coil gun ammo. That's unfortunate. Goblin Flight is bombing. That's a little bit optimistic. Goes into point defense range with the bomb lineup. And I believe that the fratricide is just going to pop that. Yeah, also the gun's just going to take out the fighter craft. So a little bit optimistic there with your strike potential. Inferno Flight lurking in the midsection here, trying to find anything. Avarice, once again, trying to find the carrier here, but there is alert fighters on standby. These carrier players are not sleeping. 8-Ball knows what is up. They've seen the play attempted before and has their assets nearby. If you can choose, what do you prefer? Whatever the situation calls for. That's all I got to say, really, Noak. Just, as a cap player, what you do is you look for opportunities to help out your front line, providing sensor awareness assets, jam out the enemy to try and figure out what you need to go for there. As we see here, we have Solar providing the sensor on the flank here in case any jamming happens to hit Pyrope. In this turn, Pyrope is going to create opportunities for Solar here to get onto the point and hold that against lighter assets. So yeah, just kind of play adaptively. That's the best answer I got for everything. As we see here, Jar going to be taking a couple of those hits there. I believe those were mainly R3 rockets finding their way through. Take a couple shots there. Yep, that's going to be quite good. Brings the gun down to 0%, meaning that one of these AP rounds, if it gets a lucky hit, will knock that thing out. Kelly gun is fairly healthy, but the front thrusters and the kind of ablative stack here have been wounded pretty well. Yeah, the frontline fight of cruiser on cruiser here, both sides heavy doing their work. We see now there's the strike we're looking for. C-point cap attempted by a pair of corvettes, Dragonbender and Hallow, working in tandem here to try and get onto these things. Seeing now size 2s go out. AMMs are deployed, trying to intercept here. I think that's a little too much missile, though, to get through these things. Yeah, Dragonbender just gonna be eating these missiles here. That's a knockout right there. Yeah, that's why you bring along these double MMTs. Kind of an interesting combo there. One of them does get knocked out and will go off in about, 2 minutes or so. Still, Hallow going to be on the point, secures the cap, and steps off there. Solar able to move up with the tug wing. Dragonbender's nearby and could get a shot in, but All right, going to take a look down below. Looks like Solar got hit by some missiles coming in here. Who was that from? Was that Grizzly Flight? No, it's a little too far away. What struck that? Was it Nova? I think Nova managed to get some torpedoes out here. Yeah, so we're seeing here the Sun Drive does get an overload. Should be able to be fixed in time, so it's able to go around there. Edge trying to move onto the point, still alive after taking that missile strike. Kind of a lucky damage spread where it only took out the entire front section of the ship that you kind of need. It does still have a T-20 and a magazine, which is annoying, but able to move onto the D point here, potentially get through. Strike is out on target. Hitman Flight is airborne. Does have a 20 mil nose gun against 4 torpedoes. Fighter craft, oh no, it's trying to land. Oh, it's not able to intercept in time. Torpedoes going to be finding their way home here in a second. That's going to hurt in a second. Goodbye, Microsoft Edgelord Klonk, as that ship is skeletized. 1 minute, 20 seconds till the mag cooks off as well, just for good measure. Hybrids inbound as well. Hallow not sleeping over here. Honestly, this as like a long range, just like, I'm going to keep an eye on this flank and just stab you with 2 missiles. Kind of a cool tech. Decap is kept secured there. Meanwhile, over on the E point, we see Hallow moving in turn over here. The Look Obama trying to get in here. It's got itself a torpedo complement and a hybrid in there as well. So it looks like they took some pretty bad damage. I believe the 450 had shredded them, or maybe a missile when we weren't looking. They still got one ship here, able to contest, seeing a couple of torpedoes being launched out here. Pair of Forgetfulness torpedoes. I think these are from the starter fleet Willow, if I recall correctly. Not hot cold teched, unfortunately, so I think that maybe, never mind. Dual Pavis just... Okay. Yeah, forget what I said. 2 Pavis ain't enough, apparently, as this thing's going to take 2 crippling torpedo hits there. Front gets knocked pretty badly, and the Sun Drive goes down as well. Damn. All right, yeah, torps are good. Lesson learned. You just need enough G-force, I guess. C-point cap is going through. Solar looks like they just got bloomed. We'll go into first-person mode now. Yeah, that thing is a little bit toasted there. Pavis blind points, yeah, it goes to show that the Pavis on the wing mounts here can have a little bit of trouble intercepting on the nose. Sometimes they get a little bit conflicted with each other and kind of forget. Why some people like to put it on the top or the bottom slot there, just defended. Would have defended side on. Yeah, if you just like point the nose slightly offset, you're able to defend it, but being right on like that is unfortunately just this kind of like weird blind spot that it has. 450 flying towards Dragonbender. The oak tree at the top of the map is going to take a little bit of heat as Pyrope is kind of splitting their forces up right now. Seeing that the Joan Arc is going towards the top of the map, and the Pyra Nikos over here is going to be continuing to hold it down the line against this Task Force Oak-like. Kind of interesting seeing Pyrope being the frontline asset here, trying to hold back 3 Axfords with only a pair of Accelos herself. Still gives opportunities for Shrapnel Flight to come along here. Got some flashbangs here just to mess with some of the enemy's point defense stuff, and also a bunch of Spearfish rockets going to be going towards them. Let's see if they're intercepted or not. Tasty Cookie tries to get some jamming out, does not have any more VLS-2 ammunition here, so no Naganatas or Breadsticks from point blank. Jar knows that they are in trouble as Tasty is all in on the missile strike. Completely offense there, no defense. When you see a fleet like this coming towards you, you better hope you have Breadsticks or something to shoot him down. Sarissa's coming out here. Say what? This thing has Sarissa's on it. I completely missed that. Still, though, that's a large bomber wing. You should be able to at least cripple one of these ships. The Let Go of All Morals is already pretty damaged, and the Perfect Judgment is, yeah, a little bit bruised as well, missing some of its essential compartments there. Needs to get those devices put back together. Come on, Jar. You know how to frontline. Put your stuff back together if you can. Shrapnel Flight on approach here. No fighters on intercept. There goes the missiles out here. Yeah, I believe it's the the flashbangs, or what was the jamming provided? One of those had that's got a jammer in. What? All right. Anyways, chasing perfect judgment gets struck there pretty good. I think let go of all morals got struck as well. What? These are jammers? I like these. Wait, how do those have jammers in them? Those are size 1s, aren't they? Oh, those are size 2s. I'm blind. Never mind. Okay, yeah. Size 2s here. HE shaped is able to bring along just pure act and then a jammer there to mess up the enemy point defense targeting unless you get your R3 strikes. That is cool seeing the size 2 pen aid accompanying the R3s. Love that little tech there from 8-Ball. Good stuff. Just had to take a second and read that properly. Cool. All right. Dragoon flight down here going to be finding these tugs. Looks like these missiles will be eating up one of them right now. Kablooey, the dagger goes down. Dressing didn't Tanto back hard enough, huh? Yeah, unfortunately, Tanto's in that situation with just the coil gun. I don't think it's quite what you want. Like, maybe a pair of them could shoot down some containers, but especially with the reduction to the, like, ammunition count. A possibility, if you want to do that, is internal fuel tank, 35 mil, like, gun pods on the wings. You can shred through incoming bomber wings like that and just use your coil gun as you need to. So, kind of cool seeing a return to form with the 35 mil slug. Kind of finding a place now as, like, a, hey, we also have, like, this as our, like, side guns. So, would be nice to see. Pyrope consolidates her forces, squares off against Dragon Bender with the Oak Tree up top, and just kind of goes against these things. Basil Tug here is going to be taking a bit of missile hits. I think that was from... What was that from, actually? Ah, there it is. The speed band down here is going to be trying to hold down the C point here. Is going to get the cap through, as Basil is currently combat ineffective. CIC goes down. I believe that that's all the restores. Yep, that is going to be knocked out there. 450. Brutal against anything that's not a shuttle. Drake Flight engaging is going to find Tasty Cookie's treehouse over here. The sundial that could, trying to do its best to run away right now. Streak Flight on intercept, combat, hardburn engaging. Missiles out here, going to be seeing they can't take out one of those jam vets. There you go, that's a crippling strike. All but one of the jammers is taken out there. Also good damage across here. Gun should follow up on that, and the missile launcher potentially is sweeping this as well. Do they have any more missiles is the question. Where is the ship on the, there it is. No, looks like they are out of missiles. That explains why they didn't fire a final one. Trying to go for the decap. Hollow is nearby, able to intercept that one. Pyrope trying to create opportunities here on the C point. Nothing currently in place to try and exploit that. 8-Ball did use a lot of their strike potential, taking out one of those Axefords. So now it's kind of an even fight up top. Actually, all things considered, Pyrope is largely untouched here. Jar is suffering on one of these, but still actually has the ability to repair this. Needs to get on the ball there. Needs to get that chain restore going here. Come on, Jar. You know how to frontline. Put that shit back together. It's Task Force Oak. You know what to do. Should be able to get the damage control set up on this thing and then get them back into the fight. Axefords are very good at repairing. 450, though, laying it down against Dragon Bender. Dragon Bender doing a good job dodging here. Double Raider and a Whiplash. Going to be orbit dodging at this range, letting most of those rounds fly by and miss. So they're doing pretty good. All right, some more missiles coming out here. Going to see if they're able to get into the D-capper here. Let's take a look. This thing does not have sufficient defense against these missiles. Let's see. Pavisis on this thing should be able to get that. Let's see. Pavisis, maybe? Nah. Wishful thinking. Unfortunately, the min-angle wiggle is going to be enough for that. Yep, there you go. All right, going to see Pyrope over here. Ooh, whoa, that's a very bright star. Pyrope almost living up to Pyrope star status as that reactor bloom goes off. Could have cooked off all of the armor on those cellos there. That would not have been good. Luckily, though, they're still in the fight. Dragon Bender doing their best to hang out up top. Still, Pyrope looking pretty comfortable to advance towards C point here. OSP holds it with a 3 cap currently. 422 points on the board. They got the E point. They're going to get the C point. B point held down. Tasty finally manages to sneak some fighter craft through here. Still, Streak Flight on... Oh, no. Streak Flight is out of fuel. Tasty might actually get the strike through onto the back line here. Voodoo is available. A Pike on intercept. Come on, give me some Pike. Show me those Pike emotes. Yes, Pike, you hero. Come on, get him. Take down these bombers. You got 20 mil, let it rip. Get him, buddy. You can do it. No, the torpedoes are out. No, he has to break off as the engagement's too close. Torpedo's going to be getting out here. AMMs ahoy, immediately try to see what they can scramble. A whole bunch of Pikes get airborne as they realize the situation. Come on, Pikers, bring these torpedoes down. There's the intercepts on half of them. Half of them gonna find their way through. Manages to drive tank it into the drive. Fuel line fire going, but that can be fixed by the teams. Pike, my hero. Yes! Woo! That is why we love seeing these scramble loadouts. Experienced carrier players going, oh shit, I need this airborne right here, right now. Get yourself a scramble loadout. Nothing but gun ammo. Just need it off the deck ASAP. Get that out. Woo! All right, take a look at the rest of the board right now. Pyrope continues there. 8-ball with the correct answer of just Jesus fuck, realizing what had happened and managed to get the intercept. Those pikes out for blood right now, going after these things. Chaplain out here has a 35 mil gun. Skiff trying to intercept these bombers as they run away, doing a little chip damage. Yeah, 8-ball realizing like they could have been really bad. They got really lucky with the drive tank location. You can fix this fuel line fire. You have time. 30 seconds still. 28%. This should be fixable. Yeah, flying repair team got that no problem. Tasty tried the waters 2 or 3 times before, but did manage to get themselves into the winning position there. Pyronikos continues their fight over here as we see the John Arc steps onto the C point here. We'll try and cap this, but Hallow, being a little rat over here, has a torpedo corvette. Any compliment left? Yes, still does have some torpedoes in this thing. That's going to stop Pyro from capping this. Pyro does not have any anti-light, so going to have to request a strike from one of their allies to clean that thing up. 450 just generally ineffective against that. There's a reactor bloom down low from Solar. We're seeing Cap contestant over towards, what's that, the D point there. Also seeing Shrapnel Flight getting some torpedoes out. Might be trying to do something here, as carrier player from ANS will be able to get these out on target. Pyrope hits the Battle Shark. Going to try and cook away at as many of these things as possible. Might be able to take out another one here. Aurora's desperately shooting these things down. 2 of those will get through. Good damage across the entire center stack here. That's going to open up opportunities for the 450 in turn. Jar is still not preparing their stuff here. Possibly Jar just hasn't checked their damage control boards recently. They have the ability to bring their guns back up online. They've opened the board as well. They know how to prioritize their stuff there. Kind of curious if this is just something they've not, like, they thought that they had given the repair order. I'm not sure. Take a look over here. Reflex Flight is going to clean up shop over here. Any potential aggression is going to be shut down. I believe it was El Dorado here that had tried to step onto the cap, and that thing has gotten blueyed. Yeah. That still cook off there, so no reactor bloom. D point will stay in the hands of the OSP. B point is capped as Tasty Cookie had an opportunity and snuck through. Jackal Flight over here from 8-ball, going to return to base. I think 8-ball needs to get some more stuff up off the deck. We see Shrapnel Flight is attempting to land here. I think they've just been congested a little bit trying to get some of their munitions out, assuming they still have any. They got a couple Spearfish rockets here. Not much strike potential left. Still does have 100 mil, so they could potentially go and clean up some of these lighter capper assets. And Tasty Cookie putting a pair of their assets onto the point here. Solar currently occupied over on the E point here, trying to clean up the Lookout Bomber over here. Not able to do so. C-53 is a good gun for finishing things off if missile struck, but not as good as the C-30 against these lighter cap assets. Bit of a trade-off there. Still, OSP is going to hold 2 points. We're going to see some strikes going out up here. There you go. Anti-light strike going towards Hallow's asset up here. They finally figured out where this thing was. Bombs are on target as it desperately is trying to evade. We'll see if these bombs will manage to hit or not. A couple of hits across the front there, but still the majority of them missing. Reactor does get taken out. Still, the rest of the ship is pretty healthy. It is out of munitions, though. Wait, hang on. This thing has fruit flies. I'm pretty sure those are anti-craft. Why haven't they destroyed them? Come on, Hallow. Just Z-target those things. Hit them. Spearfish rocket, wishful thinking on one of those, but the rest of them looks like they've cleaned up shop here pretty well. Are you guys bombing? No, you're just getting point blank with a flashbang. You know what? Fair enough. That's one way to kill them. Just deauthorize it until you get, like, literally in smooching distance and let it rip. R3 is going to clean up the natural point back here. 8-ball might actually just have to step on this. That or Edge brings one of their capper assets back. We will see. These are currently pivoting towards the map here, potentially going for the A-cap or resecure their natural. A-cap still Overwatch as Hallow has their beam asset, has been back here the whole game. A couple of assets forgotten about potentially from Dragonbender. Yeah, Dragonbender's just focused on this all game. They could potentially move these capper assets out, try and threaten the D point over here, or potentially go towards the E side with a good strike. We'll see. John Arc is suffering up top as it is experienced a reactor grid. This was the one that got torpedo struck earlier, so it is heavily damaged. Take a look over there. John Arc is there. Where is Pyrope's other cruiser? There it is. Other cruiser is trying to make its way over. Try and maybe rotate here a little bit of the D point side. You see plenty of dead ships over there, but currently nothing living. Reflex and Voodoo over here are RTB out of fuel, went for their bombing run, and now have to get back to the gas station, their carrier, the supersonic trash can. Singulacello holding it down as best it can. Dragonbender still doing pretty healthy up here. Again, double Raider drive. Axford's very good at dodging. Does have that missile backpack. Potentially Spear of Congenius. Not sure if that's anti-craft or what that is. Probably not going to be used against the Cellos as they expected to have a bunch of that. Jar, once again, just hasn't prepared their stuff here. So I think Jar just a little bit asleep on the damage control side there. People have mentioned before that Jar often does play cap fleets. And as somebody who has played cap fleets, usually I just assume if I get hit, no point restoring anything, I'm dead. So we'll see. All right, that's the other size 3 anti-craft munition? Oh, okay, good to know then. would be kind of nice if it showed like a way to like figure out if it's like HE frag or if it's the thing. I'm not familiar with all of the different munitions there. Spyro Nikos, let's rip with the triple railgun shot there. Able to actually get some hits at this range. Somewhat. There you go. One misses. Never mind. Maybe it didn't miss. Maybe it just punched right through the belly there. You see a crit instantly here. Gotta see the recycle and reload time on this thing increased by 75% in the spread too. Crit's kind of nasty, honestly. I see why Pyrope takes this tech. It might not be the highest rate of fire, but a couple of crits can swing a frontline fight like that. Cool tech choice, Py. All right. So, C point continually contested here, going to show the value of just preserving one of these light capper assets here. Hallow doing a good job being a little rat on the C point there. Is there any light strike nearby? Gunslinger Flight is airborne. They've got R3s. If they can clear up this point or potentially cripple one of these Axfords, it's going to be a pretty big swing for them. E point comfortably held by the OSP, but they are starting to notice the points situation here. They need to get onto this B point here, as there's basically nothing over here. I think 8-Ball just needs to... Yeah, there we go. They're starting to hit the thrusters, move themselves over towards, say, fine, I'll do it myself. Sends out a Barracuda here, just verify everything is dead. Illuminator with a Saw Strike. Yeah, just honestly having this as an option, like very cheap Saw Striker, saying, all right, I'm going to make sure that one of these things is in fact dead. Just kill it off like that. Kind of cool to see that. Solar holds down the D point side over here. Hallow is just hanging out here, providing radar awareness. We see that a Dragon Bender has remembered they have capper assets. Mark 61s here have taken a little bit of damage from something. 4 crits on that, potentially a railgun shot or something as it walked by at the wrong angle. Ooh, here we go. Strike out on the carrier. Yeah, all right. There you go. Payback, as 8-Ball is going to say, oh, you're striking my carrier, I'm going to strike yours. Beam out onto the A point as Microsoft Edgelord going to get trimmed out in the backfield there from, I believe that's Hallow's Beam Destroyer. Yes, it is. Strike out here, takes out the bulk magazine. Nothing left on this thing, so that's all the bombers you can see this game. Hunter Flight has completely exhausted its munitions, so that is a mission kill on the carrier. Stinger Flight redirected over here, going to be firing for rockets, trying to see if they can't take out the beam potentially on that. Improved beams on the PTB means these things take less overheat damage as they hold down Battle Short. That is going to be a cook as that is cleaned up. Nice work there. Of course, Heimar's catching the beam. Heimar's our local beam enthusiast. Here we go. There's the Spear of Fringinius. Going to be flying towards Gunslinger Flight. This is a size 3 hybrid blast frag. I believe maximum warhead. That or it's like just shy of it. Either way, this is going to be going towards target here. Potentially going to splash up to like 3 or 4 of these things depending on formation. We will see just how this works. Foxhound Flight is airborne. They've got themselves their own strike group. Actually, Gunslinger's already exhausted its munitions. Potentially went for a strike and we missed it up top. Still going to need it. Yeah, there you go. Heavy damage on 2 of them, and 2 of those things just immediately splash. What did that strike go off against? Ah, that would be it. Jar getting completely smacked up here by a fuel line fire and other critical assets. Probably going to bloom shortly here as, yeah, structure broken, fuel line fire. That's probably going to be it. Yeah, 75% of the spread on the beam. It does actually kind of matter. There's a little bit of jitter on certain weapons, which is kind of weird. I believe that the beam doesn't have any spread coded to it. It's just pure aim point, but I think it can still count as like a weapon crit, so kind of cool to see. A couple of these Sarissa shots trying to fire off here, unfortunately a little too far away. Foxhound Flight trying to clean this up. If they can just secure the C point. There's the Joan Arc was unfortunately taken out there earlier on. What does Pyrope still have? They've still got the Fire Nikos, which is holding on as best it can against all of these Axfords. OSP needs to give themselves another cap. They fire off their shot maybe a little early. Spread is going to take out the engine section there. R3 is going to get mostly through. Let go of all morals. Takes a lot of damage there. Does still have restores. Jar has the damage control board open. You can fix this. Come on, Jar. Get those restores going. Put them into the essentials. Good stuff there. All right. Crippled Axford takes on Crippled Ocello. Dragon Bender actually pretty healthy here in the backfield. I think at this stage they need to recognize the enemy has been wounded. Now is your time to advance. Crush that opposition. See if you can't secure yourself the cap situation. D-point cap is trying to go through. The cloak over here from Solar is still alive. Has a C-53. Is trying to win this gunfight. Dragon Bender in turn, though, magazine has been redded out. That's unfortunate. Not getting the repairs going off on this thing means that this ship will not be fighting back. I think that if they get the ammo cycle through here with HE rounds, that will be enough to potentially pop that with a lucky hit or... pretty central, so you probably won't get that hit. But still, they're going to hold down that cap for a moment. B-cap goes through. 8-Ball is going to finally get that. We see a reactor bloom from Jar over there is going to spell doom and disaster for them. Edge was cooked below the map like Austral. The fuck is that sentence? No, get out of here with that shit. No, I am not reading that sentence. Nope, delete it. Get out of here. All right. E-point over here. We're going to see what happens when a couple of Corvettes are going to be shot off here. Yep. Noak, nope. Noak, actually, yeah, you're getting the timeout corner. Boop. There we are. Not taking that shock. Nope. Anyways, Night Flight Airborne over here going to be trying to do some intercept on Avarice. Tasty had gotten some cluster bombs off, and I think that was the last thing they had, really. Wait, how did Tasty get those cluster bombs loaded? They must have already had the bombers, like, loaded up or something. Cluster bombs will find the cloak here and will cripple it. Does lose the mag, which means it's no longer armed. That said, neither is Dragonbender's asset. As long as they can fix the magazine here, they should count as armed, and then I think they take this cap point. Points still pretty even here, 732 to 744, so we're going to go with that. All right. Let's see. Yep, Pyrope going to be continuing to give the fight that they can here. Let go of all morals is going to get shot up pretty good here. It still has restores. Where are the restores? Oh, large locker and basic in here. Okay. Yeah, reinforced up front, reinforced front stack, basic. Yeah, honestly, not bad. Where's the gun plotting center? Huh. No gun plotting center. That's what this build is missing. I was about to say, it's like there's a lot of good modules in here. Just missing a gun plotting center. Some sacrifices have to be made to fit everything in this. So yeah, 450s, you definitely want to have a gun plotting center. Worth taking. Double CIC, I don't disagree with it. Yeah. Only DD can get into play. You have the Destroyer kind of moving itself around here, trying to be doing that close guard. It is moving towards E point. Was maybe held back passively a little too long, guarding that A point. Still did manage to clean up the underside push there. Now can secure the E cap over here. D point is finally going into the hands of the ANS as they have repaired their magazine. They are combat capable. Solar was struck over here by those bombs. It was enough to take out the magazine in the front here as well as the guns, so this ship cannot contest offensively. That means that the ANS will comfortably be sitting on a 3 cap right now. Beam Destroyer should be able to sweep to the east side and clean that up, and that will be good. What does 8-Ball have? 8-Ball, I think, still has a couple of bombers here going through pre-flight. Might be able to get a strike out there and save that point from Hallow's Beam Destroyer. We'll see. What's currently on the board right now? Jar, pretty skeletized over here. Lost one of their bulkers. The other one is pretty hurt here. Can restore its stuff. Bulk mag is taken out, so you still have enough to restore the bulk mag and the belly gun here, if nothing else, but to do a little bit of damage. Pyrope holding on as best as she can. Sorry. A little cough there. I need a drink of water. All right. Raider drive, boosted reactors, no restores remaining on this thing. Yep, still has its topside guns trying to chip away at this Corvette. Of course, Corvette's very thin armor. Non-existent armor, actually. Just 450 HE. It does actually detonate inside. Wow, that's... Huh. Yeah, I guess the aft angle is enough that it'll actually, like, have enough pen depth, like, flowing through everything to actually go off. Normally, we just see this overpen go right out the outside, but no, with the precise angle of that, that's unfortunate from Hallow there. I don't think that they intentionally did that, but yeah. All right, let's take a look over here. Yeah, wrong aspect. If that thing was flat side, it would have survived. 20% damage on overpens means it goes right out from one side to the other. Gotta see, Corvette over here is going to be trying to contest east side, but they're going to be losing that by the looks of it. I think Solar is still good here. Yep, combat capable on at least one of these. No, never mind. CIC snipe going off here, so that is going to be enough to turn these things kind of to dust here. Yeah, as long as you can keep that CIC knocked out, you're good. Beam Destroyer on approach as well has itself burning here at 27.7, fast as it can go with that Dragonfly drive. I almost said Raider drive. Sometimes you see Raiders, occasionally it's Dragonfly. Depends what you get. All right. 8-Ball over here coming in with the 100 mil HE rounds. Going to be trying to get on that point, clean up everything, assuming they can. Cap game kind of flipped now. ANS takes the lead. We're going to see them potentially locking down a 4-cap situation here. What does OSP have to get onto points, actually? In terms of ships, there's 3 tugs. There's a very wounded Ocello that could maybe set on the C point, and there is 8-Ball with their carrier that's trying to find something. All right, let's take a look here. So yeah, Beam Destroyer, I think, is going to get in range before these 100 mil bombers do. Beam Destroyer is not detected, so 100 mil will not be able to intercept it first. They are going to clean up this Capper Corvette over here, I believe. This thing, yep, should be locked up shortly. Where's the lock indicator? Come on. Might be firing from, like, the distance here. These have 4-kilometer lock range. Does it actually show up if it's fire control locked? I swore it gets fire control locked by bombers. Oh, well. Change of targets here. Let's see, does this one? There you go. That's the lock indicator. Now they finally found us. Yeah. Gonna clean up these Corvettes. Goes to show 100 mil bombers are exceptionally good at this punch down roll. Just to try and take out anything. Reinforcing sack here, kind of in the front, does manage to soak through most of that. Still, one bomber does have a bit of ammo. They are turning and burning back around. They see that the cap has stopped being contested there, so they are going to try and probably go back, refuel, and rearm. Ennis wins. OSP can't cap. I've seen some weird games. I feel like ANS is favored right now. I think they've got the 3-cap situation. Pyronikos could step onto the point here if not contested. The Dragon Better has assets in the backfield. Dragon Better has not advanced and just crushed this very wounded Acello. Possibly does not realize the situation or is a little bit concerned about other stuff like getting rocket struck. So I think at this point, with the healthy Axford here, knowing that this Acello has been in all of the danger the entire game, should be able to step up, secure that point, and cap it. C-cap attempt does go through here and possibly can flip. Butcher Flight still is active here. Do they see the Destroyer? Might just be on intuition. 8-Ball is keeping these things kind of on station. Destroyer is going to reveal itself and looks like, oh, here we go. Butcher Flight going to be coming in here. More bombers joining the flight as we see 8 of them now in total. All right, Butchers, do your job. See if any of you have ammo. We're going to see, yep, the, oh no, it's broken its radar lock. Oh, they must have just turned off their, no, they just got the bad angles so their radars didn't lock on. I don't think that Solar has radars on these active right now. 10 is out on that one. Radar's gone on this one. Yeah, Butcher Flight, unfortunately, just not quite seeing it. Oh, that's rough. Beam Destroyer probably going to get through. Nope, never mind. One of them does find it, which means that others will be able to. 100 mil coming in. Potentially, they don't have ammo either. We will see. Can they get a lucky snipe on this thing? Intel Center and Small goes down. Potential CIC and Aux steering snipe out, or just the drive, deny it, the drift. We'll see. Team's getting juked. We'll see. Solar over here does not have offensive ability, or do they with the chat? I don't know if they have an arming missile in there. They have a CIC. Could potentially have arming missile if they get on the point there. Yeah, 100 mil bombers. They're good in the late game, good in the early game. Just honestly like to see them. Not many of them have ammunition left, if any. A couple of the ones that just got off the deck, I think, are engaging here. I can't tell with each individual one. I think that they're out of ammunition, unfortunately. Blew it all on the Corvettes, which was the right call. AS, I think, is going to secure victory here. They have a slight cap lead, and they're going to secure their 3 cap. That should be that one. Yeah. This is a hell of a game, as we saw both players just try and, like, tear each other apart for the cap war over here. Both carriers doing some good work around the map, seeing what strikes they could get out, trying to backstab each other. Tasty ended up getting a strike on them. We saw 8-Ball did get struck. Where was it? Yeah, there it is. Did get struck, but managed to luckily drive tank it. Just the angle could have been very bad. Could have hit the center stack like the bulk mag or things. Has 1 restore in the ship, and what's it? A rapid, a small? Yeah, it's a decent amount. Spacecraft repair station in a... Huh. Interesting choice. This has the Moorline has one of these built in, so I guess they want to like repair additional craft. So interesting. That's going to be GG called, as ANS will manage to cinch the victory there. Not for lack of trying by OSP. Pyrope managed to step on the point here and is going to try and refuse to die as long as she can. Axford comes over the rock here, tries to go. Yeah, that is GG call. Woo. 972 to 944 right now. Just probably going to be like, what, a 40-point deficit or so? Solar decides to throw in the towel there. 8-Ball and Pyrope just going to give one last hurrah. Butcher Flight did their best that they could. I believe that these bombers trying to do their stuff. Unfortunately, Capper assets cleaned up on the E-point side. Yeah, not even close. Yeah, surely not even close, right? Bit of a nail biter, that one, right down to the end. Just interesting stuff all around. Except for you, Microsoft Edgelord, with your stupid "we have carrier at home." I hate this fleet. Why do you run this? Pain. Oh, boy. This cast started off by Pyrope looking at Yuri manga, and we got here. What is Nebulous? I don't even know anymore. This was a match of all time. All right, one more tick, and the ANS will secure victory. OSP going to be down just by 36 points, I think, on final tick. Yep, there you go. Battle over. GG's. Well played. Light asset war. Kind of fun. Solar, interesting stuff. Yeah, what was the name of the manga? We'll figure that one out. Link it in the chat. I know that's a YouTube comment. You all can figure that one out. Oh, boy. All right. Yeah, that was a game of all time. Edge able to do some stuff. Edge, that's criminal. This build, and you pull almost 17k. Get the fuck out of here. Pyrope doing some work. John Arc did get booped pretty badly there, I believe, by some missile strikes. Pyroniko's able to hold out to the late game. Solar coming in with the cool tug pairings around the map. Potentially might want to take one of these with C30, just a little bit anti-light strike. Other one C53, so you can knock out things you hit with the missiles there. Sure, say Solar. By the way, your S2's target small. S2 HEI's target small. Just so that they're aware of that, because that was kind of a funny thing there. Not a lot was left, and you think 2 cluster bombs? Yeah, you had like 2 clusters left in your banks, I think, Tasty. Let's find... Actually, we'll finish this flip, but yeah. Good damage numbers overall for these things. Tasty, you're able to get a bunch of stuff done, just shy of 30k. Bunch of torpedo bombers, the interesting kind of like air control assets here, the Naginata spam with these 2 Corvettes and the jammers. Honestly, just like In terms of utility asset, like, this is really nice. We've seen the jam vet being the jam shuttle being quite good on the OSP side. You take it, you just basically take a shuttle, strip out the radar, give it a pair of Bellbird jammers. That's a really nice, like, 200-point asset. Put that into any fleet. You can do some very good electronic warfare. Seeing that kind of tech coming out as the ANS equivalent here, a bunch of that is just put into the size 2 bay here, so you can get these Naganatas. Potentially could get yourself, like, I don't know, like a hybrid in here if you wanted. Just some interesting, cool stuff there. Tasty, again, going in with the greeted build, so when they got struck, very much suffered. Yeah, 1 damage control team, so if you get crit, you're gonna die. Jar coming in here. Unfortunately, just Jar never put their ships back together, so they didn't quite have the combat power that they should have. So, yeah, a little more time in the Task Force Oak Lane with them, and they should be good. Beam Destroyer able to clean up pretty well here. Yeah, nice stuff. Belly Gun and the Beam able to do a little bit of hit damage over the course of the game. Good point defense on this. Bunch of these capper assets around the board. This frigate, I love this frigate. Again, splice techs. I love splice fleets. You just mix different stuff into the game. You just take some of these missiles on it, give yourself a spyglass adaptive radar receiver. Yeah, good things overall. A couple of these corvettes, torpedo vets. Again, people don't run torpedo vets. They're good. Bring them. Lastly, we saw it was Dragon Bender, top of the map. Maybe a little passive. It is an expensive Axford still in the late game like that. Can be a little more aggressive, push into the enemy, secure that point, hold it down. Good stuff overall. Yeah. Cappers able to survive in the late game. Good stuff. Yeah. This was a good game. All right, we're going to just ready up here. Whew. Certainly a game of all time here on the public test branch. I'm not sure if we got to see much new tech. I think it was tech-wise specifically. Yeah, Tasty had these stealth bombers trying to go for the approach with the jammer corvettes, which is kind of cool tech there. Taking a look at other stuff here. Did 8-Ball? I don't think 8-Ball had anything particularly special for upgrades on any of these. I don't think so, at least. Or at least not that I caught at the start of the game, so yeah. All right, we're just waiting on 8-Ball then to ready up. 8-Ball, ready? Check with them and we'll get into another one. Yeah. Woo!